Liv Morgan won the 2026 Royal Rumble, but she did it by betraying the one person who finally took out Rhea Ripley. And here's the problem. Liv didn't just win the Royal Rumble, she crossed a line that the Judgment Day never forgets. While Dominik Mysterio was busy pacing like the world's most supportive boyfriend, he quietly hit one post that actually mattered. So tonight we're breaking down why Liv's win might cost Raquel everything, why Dom's online behavior isn't support, it's damage control, and how this is setting up to be a very uncomfortable Monday Night Raw in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. So welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, JD, Roxanne, Por Carlito, El Grande Americano, Los Americanos, and now El Grande Americano Original, and AEW 2. Tonight's Royal Rumble review is entitled Judgment Day Comes for Liv. And shout out to Michael Cole for accidentally saying the quiet part out loud. Liv punched her ticket to WrestleMania, but the question now is, what's the cost? Because if Liv is willing to betray Raquel and Dom doesn't need a reason to turn on anybody anymore, are we finally entering a Bonnie and Clyde era for Liv Dom? Not so fast. Dom's posting spree celebrating Liv's win, cute. But black hearts instead of red? That's not we're good. That's I'm performing good. More on that later. We didn't get Dominik Mysterio or Finn Bálor in the Royal Rumble, but we did get El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano Original. And somehow that told us more than half the men's match. So tonight we're talking both Royal Rumbles, Dom's suspicious posting spree, why Gunther being a legend killer doesn't hit, and what all this means heading into Monday Night Raw. Let's get into it. First up, Women's Royal Rumble match. Let's be honest, the Rumble itself wasn't that exciting. Between the restrictive gear, a lack of real surprises, and predictive pacing, it felt flat. Outside of Brie Bella's return, the match was bland as fuck. That said, Lash Legend was presented as a powerhouse and she had a lot of notable eliminations. Kairi Sane eliminating Asuka mattered because that finally pushes forward their story. Raquel finally getting one over on Rhea Ripley mattered a lot more. And Sol Ruka showed out. Roxanne Perez was taken out by Rhea with a border toss, and I refuse to call it the Razor's Edge. There's an important detail in that Roxanne was not involved in the Liv Raquel sequence, and that matters later. The finish comes when Liv Morgan hits a clean final sequence with Sol Ruka and Tiffany Stratton, and she wins. And look, I'm really happy Liv won, believe me. Liv deserves her WrestleMania match after years of setting up other people's moments and being treated like an afterthought. So now people have stopped bitching. But the story didn't end with the win, because for the first time, we finally moved forward in the Liv Raquel story. Raquel eliminates Rhea. Liv immediately eliminates Raquel. The woman who is always betrayed finally did the betraying. And take note that Liv still needs people to do her dirty work. Dom was always helping Liv with her matches and winning, and now it's Raquel who finally gets rid of Rhea, something that Liv really couldn't do on her own. Yeah, she's pinned Rhea once, but it's Raquel and Dom that are doing the heavy lifting, and she still needed that. And so we have a Liv Morgan win, and like I said, I am happy for her, but so if you don't take my blasé or my lack of emotion in reporting this as something where I'm not excited or happy for her. I'm just thinking of other people, namely Raquel, Finn, and Roxanne. But after Liv wins, Dom goes on to a hilarious posting spree on the X. Because, I mean, the second Liv won, Dominik Mysterio went on this posting spree. He was reposting everything. Every WWE graphic, every social media mention. He was just going hog wild. So the question becomes, does that mean everything is fine? No. In fact, I stand firm on my previous video, Are We Good Though? That I posted on YouTube. If anything, this is overcompensation from Dom, especially after what Dom posted on Wednesday. This feels like him trying to return to being the dutiful good boyfriend again. And as I've said before in my We Good Though video, Dom has done this before. He has done it with Rhea Ripley. He will go to the extreme to keep everybody happy until the mask slips. So don't think everything is good just yet. Also worth noting, this is the most Dom has posted about Liv in months. And I'm talking about pre-injury Dom here. Because there was times where Dom would not repost what Liv did at all, or he would wait way late. Like, I'm talking hours later, just kind of like how he did previously on Wednesday. He would either wait a long time to repost or not post it at all. So this is not supporting Liv. It's keeping up appearances, because it would look weird if your boyfriend then supports you in your win. Kind of like how Liv kind of looks suspicious because she didn't call out Finn for not clocking Punk regarding calling Dom garbage. You see what I mean? You see how that sticks out? But here's the interesting bit. Buried in the posting spree is the one thing Dom didn't repost. And it's Liv's repost of the WWE showing her eliminate Raquel. Why would Dom repost everything, and I do mean everything, except for that? I've said it before that Dom selectively reposts Liv, and this is exactly what it looks like. And here's the real tell. Dom's original I don't trust anybody post is still on his main X page. The post saying that he and Liv are cool though, that's buried in the replies tab, meaning that you would actively have to search for that We Cool Though post on the X. So if you go to Dom's X account and look for the We Cool Though post, it's not going to be there. You have to go to the reply tab. So if Dom really wanted to see that We Cool Though post, he should have, quote, posted it. Instead, he did a reply, which means it gets buried. Dominik Mysterio, I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game. And now, let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble match, so, shall we? Roman Reigns wins. Cool. Yay. Now he's gonna disappear for about 2 or 3 months. There was no Dom, there was no Finn, and that really sucks. Less so on Dom's side, but more so on Finn's side, because Finn was told that there was no spots, but then they could afford to have everybody else in there for Finn, or having somebody select their match, or select their way into the match, like Damian Priest on SmackDown, which is complete and utter bullshit. So Finn was locked out, Dom wasn't there, JD is still injured still, so no male Judgment Day members were in the Royal Rumble, which sucks. Finn should have been in there at least, representing the Judgment Day. Here are the only interesting parts from the Royal Rumble for me. Braun Breaker being attacked by a masked assailant, curb stomped, and then tossed back into the ring to be eliminated by Obafemi. Who was this masked assailant? Was it Seth? Was it Austin Theory? Who knows? It's somebody, and now it's knocked Braun Breaker out of contention for any kind of title belt. El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano Original. Chad Gable is clearly back, and they did the Spider-Man meme again, and they had some interesting interactions until they were both eliminated. I'm curious on how this folds into American Made. Like, does El Grande Americano Original go hang out with American Made? And where does Dom fit in all this? Because remember, he created El Grande Americano, both versions. So where does Dom fit into all this? Gunther entering at number 30 and Logan Paul making the final 4 again was lame as fuck. There were also no real surprises in the men's Royal Rumble match. I mean, who was it that popped up? LA Knight. Everybody knows he was ready to come back. Chad Gable was ready to come back. Powerhouse Hobbs, I forgot his new name already. That was already rumored that he was going to show up in the Royal Rumble. We knew about Obafemi. We knew about Roman Reigns. There was no real surprises. There was no real pop-up, guy like maybe a Chris Jericho that would have been a surprise in the men's Royal Rumble match. So that was another kind of a bland thing. Like, nothing was there. Roman Reigns wins, yay. And this is after he talked mad shit about Triple H. So while I do call Triple H a ball fraud, It's just really interesting that Roman Reigns can talk all that shit about how the WWE needs him, even though he's been gone away for months, and then he comes back and win. Like, what the hell? Other Royal Rumble quick hits. Gunther retires AJ Styles, and it takes real talent to kill the Saudi crowd. I'm serious. Like, that got killed flat until AJ was getting his kudos after the match. But it takes skill to do that. And Gunther being a legend killer when we already have a more interesting one on the roster by the name of Randy Orton is certainly a choice. Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn. And I don't know what the record is, but Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew. And I am exhausted with this underdog Sami Zayn story. Like, let the man win or stop calling him an underdog. He is not an underdog. He is a multi-time champion. He just hasn't won the big one, kind of like Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre at least won the big championship. Like, they keep hesitating with Sami. I don't know. Is he ever going to win the big one? I don't know. But he's not an underdog. They need to stop it. And I really thought Sami was gonna like take somebody out to take their spot and win the Royal Rumble, which I think would have been a lot more interesting than Roman Reigns winning at 30, winning the Royal Rumble. Like, let Sami come in like Becky Lynch, take somebody's spot, and win the Rumble. I would have taken that over Roman Reigns. So, what are some Monday Night Raw implications? Liv eliminated Raquel and won the Royal Rumble. That puts Raquel in a must-win situation. Liv versus Stephanie does not have the story. I'm sorry, that is not the story. You know what made Stephanie interesting? Raquel. Raquel beating her ass made Stephanie more interesting. It wasn't Liv. And Liv and Stephanie have not even really interacted with each other except for one time and during one match. That was like twice. All the other time it's just been exclusively Raquel and Stephanie. If they really wanted to tease something, they should have been having Liv interact with Stephanie more. Kind of like how they have Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. While when Cody and Jacob were eliminated from the Royal Rumble match, they have a story set up for them after being eliminated and not being in title contention. They have that feud. So that's something set up for him. For Stephanie and Liv, there's nothing there. There's no story. What's the story for Liv and Stephanie? Because what is Liv just gonna be, I am the greatest, all this yada yada yada, and Stephanie's gonna, say something, and we gotta have that story carry for 3 to 4 months. The story is with Liv and Raquel, especially after Liv eliminated Raquel. Raquel needs to win this. I do not want her to have a Drew McIntyre situation where she keeps getting built up only to not win a title. See, that's that's an underdog story. Raquel hasn't won because they keep snatching it, and she doesn't have those title opportunities like Sami Zayn has. And like Drew, they keep pushing, and then they yank it back. I don't want that for Raquel. She needs to win. Let that story be Liv versus Raquel. That's the story. If they want to put it as a triple threat match, and I know some people are going to bitch, oh, Liv needs a singles match. She's getting to WrestleMania, finally. Be happy she's getting to WrestleMania in a major storyline, looks like. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a single one-on-one match. The best match last year was Rhea versus Bianca versus Io. That was a triple threat match. And that was the best match on the card. So while Liv and Stephanie might be a good match, the best story is with Liv and Raquel. And like I said, if they want to put Stephanie in there after Raquel wins the title, so Stephanie can get her rematch, then that's fine. Liv can still win the title at WrestleMania. I have no problem with Liv winning the title at WrestleMania. In fact, I expect her to win the title at WrestleMania because she's going to be doing some publicity, and they probably want to throw a title on her so she can go take it on these precedence tours. I perfectly expect that to happen, and I have no problem with that happening. Really, I don't. But in the interim, I want Raquel to have that title for a couple of months. If she can carry it from February to WrestleMania, that's fine. And I really hope for that. Because I keep seeing a lot of people saying, well, they could pause Finn and Raquel's stories until after WrestleMania. Why would you do that? Why would you pause the story? If all the bitching that I've heard about Finn being a demented demon, and they don't want to pull a trigger, and something should go on. Now you want to pause the story? Why would you? And if you pause Finn's story, what do you do with Dom? But I'm getting ahead of myself because I'll get back into Finn later. But I can't see why people would want Raquel to stop pursuing like a title or pause the story with Liv for 2-3 months just so we can have Liv versus Stephanie. Like, what does Raquel do in the interim? And you can't tell, and I will not accept her going back to tag. That was bullshit when they tried to force that, like, right when Liv returned, like when Liv was trying to put Liv, Roxanne, and Raquel in the tag division. I didn't like it then. I wouldn't like it now. They shouldn't be in tag. Roxanne should be over there into the IC title contention, but that's all blocked up right now. So so right now, that story should be Raquel. She needs to win that match. And if Stephanie is still kind of injured here, then just gonna pull the title off of her. Pull the title off, let her go heel for a little bit, and then if they want her to come back around Elimination Chamber time, they can do that. And like I said, Raquel has put in the work. I don't like somebody that puts in a lot of work and held it down while somebody else was injured, only for that to get snatched away as soon as the person returns. And I have another thought on that later, but I'll get into that later. Oh, and what about Roxanne? Roxanne stayed out of the Liv Raquel betrayal, which keeps her as a wild card. She will likely be placed in between Liv and Raquel. I expect that. She's as of right now, she hasn't reposted any of Liv's reposts, so it looks like she's gonna be in that neutral ground until she finally decides to go against Raquel, and I think she will. And there's a couple of reasons why I think she will do that. She would like to want to stay on Liv's side until the time is right for her to strike, because she is that type of a character, and I do think she wants to stay close to Dom. So it's a little bit easier for her to turn on Raquel than Liv at this moment. But Roxanne's story needs to start happening soon. Now that we've gotten past the Royal Rumble, her story needs to start. And regarding Roxanne's story, I still think it's tied to Dom some way, because right now she's kind of just there. So I think that her story just needs to get going right now. I don't know if even Dom's gonna pop up in Philadelphia on Monday, but Roxanne's story needs to get going. Like, if they're not gonna put her in the Intercontinental Championship contention, then she needs to start doing something else in the background with this Judgment Day story. And what about the demented demon known as Finn Bálor? After Finn went full demented demon on Raw against CM Punk has to respond. Elimination Chamber is in Chicago this year. Finn makes sense to be Punk's opponent then. This will be Finn's last Raw as a heel. Punk needs a heel to face in Chicago to be in the match, and that's just perfect. This is like an extinction burst. Like, this is that one last act as a heel before he goes face. But to wrap things up, I'm really happy for Liv, but I am annoyed with how fast the triggers are being pulled for her. Dom and Finn still do not have a feud, and they should have had that feud by now. Instead, it feels like the tension is shifting towards Finn versus Liv. It is very frustrating that Liv's stories are moving quickly now, while Dom has had to wait months, even a year at this point. Even though there was plenty of time for a Dom Finn feud or any other kind of feud prior to his injury. That said, Raquel needs to win on Monday, and Roxanne needs her real story moment. And if Raquel doesn't win, I am going to be pissed off on Raquel's behalf.